वीडियो बैठ डायरेक्ट इसका फेस ही लेना। Hello, good morning to all.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
I am audible.
Yes, sir. Good
Yes,
morning,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
audible to you, all of you. Hello.
Yes, sir.
I hope all are good with good health. Take care. Okay, we'll start now. You know already, region wise we have completed upper limb. So thorax started. Hello, I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So already we have started thorax. So thorax has some important structures are there. The major you know already, heart and lung. So some other structures are there, neighboring structures which are very important as per their function and location and anatomical. So under the thorax we will study one by one briefly about thoracic duct, azygos vein and superior vena cava. Okay, so generally around approximately 5 to 6 liters of blood in the body, you know already. So this blood is carried by the some different type of blood vessels. So they play very important role between the connectivity and circulation, collateral circulation, anastomosis and all. So next one is thoracic duct, as the name itself indicates. We are discussing about now thoracic region. So thoracic duct. Duct, what is duct? Duct, it is a narrow passage, tunnel like pipe. So it is a thoracic duct. So introduction, how it forms, then course of that particular duct, relations, tributaries, that is branches of the particular structure, and lastly applied anatomy. So thoracic duct, it is a largest lymphatic trunk which drains a part of the chyle, that is lymph, product of the which is formed by the due to the product of fat digestion, and most lymph of the body. So thoracic duct extend from where it starts. So it extends from the upper part of the abdomen. Listen carefully, upper part of the abdomen. Thoracic duct means it is not coming from the thorax. So extend, it arises or it starts from the upper part at the level of the thoracic 12, T12 vertebra, at the level of the T12 vertebra. Then it extend upwards at the level of lower part of the neck, and it crosses, thoracic duct crosses posterior and superior mediastinum. You know already what is mediastinum. Generally mediastinum, the space between the two lungs. So there will be a superior mediastinum, inferior mediastinum. So again it is subdivided. So the thoracic duct crosses from posterior and superior mediastinum. So posterior and superior mediastinum. So extent of the thoracic duct from the upper part of the abdomen at the level of the T12. So what is the parameters? That is length. It is length about 45 centimeter, and 0.5 centimeter wide. 0.5 centimeter wide. So during Viva, they may ask what are the other structures present in the human body having same length, that is about 45 centimeter. Anyone? The structure present in the body 45 centimeter other than thoracic duct, you know? This is the common favorite Viva question. So other than thoracic duct, what are the other structures having 45 centimeter? Anyone?
Spinal cord.
Yes.
Esophagus.
Just to verify, I am giving homework. What are the other structures having 45 centimeter? So thoracic duct is 45 centimeter, 0.5 centimeter wide. Okay. Now what is the appearance? It appears beaded due to the presence of many walls. Many walls. I will show in the next slide diagram. So it appears beaded due to the presence of multiple many walls in its lumen. In its lumen. So it is a lymphatic trunk which drains lymph of the body. So what are the tributaries? What are the branches? In case of artery, we call as some branches. In case of vein and duct, tributaries. So thoracic duct receives lymph from both dome halves of the below the diaphragm. Below the diaphragm. You know already what is diaphragm. Diaphragm, it is a muscular partition which separates thorax and abdomen. There will be a right dome of diaphragm, left dome of diaphragm. So thoracic duct receives lymph from the diaphragm through cisterna chyli and left half of the above diaphragm, above the left diaphragm. Then upper lumbar lymph nodes, that is para-aortic lymph nodes. Then mediastinal lymph nodes, mediastinal lymph nodes. Then some part of the axilla through the left subclavian trunk, left subclavian trunk. These are the spaces, or you can say areas from where the limbs is drained through the thoracic duct. So fourth one is from the part of the axilla through the left subclavian trunk, and some lymph from the lymph nodes, then left half of the head and neck through the left jugular trunk, left jugular trunk. Then lastly left half of the thorax, left half of the thorax includes left lung and left side of the heart through the left bronchiomediastinal trunk. These are the different areas or sites from where the limbs drains through the thoracic duct. We call it as the tributaries of the thoracic duct. Now, what is the course? How it runs? You know, under introduction part, from where it extends. Upper part of the abdomen. Upper part of the abdomen. So at the center, whatever the beaded part is there, it is a thoracic duct. Whatever the line of demarcation is there, black color, it is a nothing but between the imaginary line between the thorax and abdomen. So the center one beaded part is a thoracic duct, which is arising from the again upper part of the abdomen through the cisterna chyli. It runs upwards and extends and crosses. So it starts from the T12, and at the level of the T4, you know already importance of the sternal angle. Some events occurs, some changes occurs at the level of the sternal angle, which is also called as the angle of Lewis. So it is one of the event, thoracic duct crosses. So it extends upwards, then crosses between the left internal jugular vein and left subclavian vein. Left subclavian vein. So this diagram shows the extent of the thoracic duct. Thoracic duct. So this is the lateral view. You can see the thoracic duct, dotted line, green color. This is a lateral view. Again, the inferior is aortic arch, thoracic aorta. This diagram just to know the location of the thoracic duct laterally. Okay. Now, you know already the thoracic duct starts from the lower border of the T12. Then enters into the posterior mediastinum. Posterior mediastinum. There are some openings in the diaphragm. We call as one of the important is aortic opening. So these thoracic ducts extend upwards and enter into the thorax through the one of the opening of the diaphragm, that is aortic opening of the diaphragm at the level of the T12. Now, next one is at the level of the T5. It shifts to left. It shifts to left and runs in superior mediastinum. Superior mediastinum. Now, at the level of the root of the neck, the vertebral level is C7. It arches laterally, then downwards. Arches laterally, then downwards. So at the end, angle formed by the union of the, I told already in the diagram, left internal jugular vein and left subclavian vein. Subclavian vein at the end. So at the level of C7, which is root of the neck. So where there will be a prevented regurgitation of the blood by the pair of walls. So this is the course of the thoracic duct. Okay. Are you getting, all of you? Any confusion? Hello?
No, sir.
Okay. Now this is the area where the receives lymph from the some part of the area, that whatever the white color, drainage from the right lymphatic duct. Okay. Then whatever the green area is there, drainage for the thoracic duct. Okay. So this diagram you can see here, whatever the green color line is there at the middle, it is nothing but thoracic duct. Thoracic duct. The whatever the widened part of the thoracic duct at the level, at the lower level is cisterna high. So it extends upwards. Okay, you just see the diagram. It extends upwards, enter. Then at the level of the T4 crosses between at the level of the arch, it ends. It ends. Okay. What are the relations? You know the extent of the thoracic duct. Okay. Whenever it enters through the diaphragm, mainly aortic opening. So anteriorly by the diaphragm, posteriorly is vertebral column. Then on the right side, azygos vein, left side aorta. These are the relations of the thoracic duct at the aortic opening. Aortic opening. Okay. Now, then it enters into the posterior mediastinum. At the level of the posterior mediastinum, thoracic duct, anteriorly the relations are again diaphragm, esophagus, right pleural recess. Right pleural recess. Now, same level, posteriorly, the thoracic duct, again related to the vertebral column and right posterior intercostal arteries. Right posterior intercostal arteries. These are the relations at the level of the posterior mediastinum. Then next is it extends, crosses superior mediastinum. Again here, as the extents goes towards the superior mediastinum, so thoracic duct anteriorly arch of aorta. Okay. Then origin of the left subclavian artery. These are the relations anteriorly in superior mediastinum of thoracic duct. As you know, as it extends, so the posterior important structures continue as a vertebral column. So anteriorly at the level of the superior mediastinum, arch of aorta, origin of left subclavian artery, and posteriorly is vertebral column. At the end, okay, root of the neck, it crosses and ends. So anteriorly is, yes, anteriorly and posteriorly. Left common carotid, left vagus. So these are the arteries which are related anteriorly at the level of the neck. Posteriorly again, vertebral artery, sympathetic trunk, thyrocervical trunk, and left phrenic nerve. Left phrenic nerve. Anteriorly, left common carotid, left vagus, left internal jugular vein. Internal jugular vein. Just remember these relations as per the their location, that is at the level mediastinum, root of the neck. Okay. This diagram again showing the course and relation of the thoracic duct. So it ends at the arch at the level of the T4 between the left internal jugular vein and left subclavian vein. Okay. In this diagram, the blue color beaded line, it is indicate thoracic duct. Okay. This diagram showing the termination of the thoracic duct between the internal jugular vein and subclavian. So whatever the green color at the center it is there, it is nothing but thoracic duct. Thoracic duct. This is the thoracic duct. It ends here, arches. So sternal angle, very very important short note. Some different events are there which occur at the level of the sternal angle. So one of the is thoracic duct. Okay. This diagram clearly shows termination. Okay, thoracic duct between the mainly superior vena cava and different arches, that is right subclavian and left subclavian. Okay. You make all of you diagram practice with proper labeling. Okay. Okay. No, this is a cross section T4 level. This is also one of the important short note. This diagram is very very important. Okay. Cross section. What are the events occur at the level of the sternal angle? Angle of Lewis. Angle of Lewis. So this is nothing but thoracic duct. Thoracic duct. It crosses. Then again some other events also there. Base of the heart, arch of aorta and all. Okay. Okay. Bifurcation of the trachea. So there are different events are there which occurs at the level of the sternal angle. You make a short note T4 level. Okay. I told already what are the tributaries. So it receives lymph from the both the side diaphragm. Okay. These are the different areas. I already told some areas from where the lymph receives. Okay. At the last, some important applied anatomy. So whenever there will be obstruction to the thoracic duct due to some infections, some parasitic infections, so lymph vessels may get obstructed and get burst. During that time, there will be a release of lymph from the thoracic duct due to the obstruction. That is called as a chylothorax, chyloperitoneuum, chyluria. Means the lymph from urine in the all over the abdomen, peritoneum and chylothorax. Hylothorax in the thoracic cavity due to the obstruction of the thoracic duct. Obstruction of the thoracic duct due to the various causes, mainly parasitic infection, filariasis and all. Okay, now then cervical part of the thoracic ducts is damaged during the block dissection of the neck. During the block dissection of the neck. This much is enough to remember. During the block dissection of the neck, cervical part of the thoracic duct is damaged. Okay. Then next is thoracic duct is very thin walled and colorless, so more prone for injury during surgery in the posterior mediastinum. In the posterior mediastinum. So surgeon should be careful while doing the surgery, particular posterior mediastinum. These are the some important brief applied anatomy related to the thoracic duct. We'll go to the next topic. These are the small topics and very important. May come 3 marks question, 5 marks question. Just make a notes and diagram practice with proper labeling. Okay. I told already. This is obstruction of the thoracic duct and all. Okay. Now, what is the next topic? It is also related to the thorax. This is one of the important structures, which is again in the thorax. After the thoracic duct, next important structure is azygos vein. Azygos vein. So in anatomy, there will be some another name, meaning, term of that particular word. What do you mean by azygos? Azygos, yes, anyone? No idea. So anatomy, nomenclature, anatomical dictionary, very important. During Viva and for MCQs, may ask another term of anatomy, meaning, word meaning. So you remember other meaning, term, language also. Okay. So azygos vein. What do you mean by azygos? Unpaired. Okay. So azygos vein. So for azygos vein, again introduction, how it forms, course, relation, tributaries, applied anatomy. Okay. Then lower part of the again azygos, hemiazygos and accessory hemiazygos. Now I will read this. Yes, azygos vein. So thoracic tissues and the thorax wall are drained by the complex network of veins called azygos system. Are you getting my point? Thoracic region, some thoracic tissue and wall drained by a complex of networks of the veins called as a azygos system. Azygos system. So in azygos system, important one is azygos vein. Azygos vein, which is located against the right side of the vertebral column. Remember, right side of the vertebral column. Okay. It also originates in the abdomen. It also originates in the abdomen from the due to the combination of formation by the right ascending lumbar vein. Right ascending lumbar vein that drains right abdominal cavity wall, and from the right posterior intercostal vein that drains the chest muscles. So it is divided: right ascending lumbar for abdominal cavity, right posterior intercostal vein for the chest or chest muscles. So again I will repeat about the sternal angle, that is T4 level. It arches over the great vessels that runs to the right lung and empties into the superior vena cava. So azygos vein shift from right to left and enter into the major vessels. It is one of the event of the sternal angle. angle of Lewis. Okay. So how it begins? So it begins as a continuation of the right ascending lumbar vein. Right ascending lumbar vein. Ascending along the right side of the vertebral column. Vertebral column. So it joins superior vena cava. Azygos vein joins superior vena cava by above the root of the right lung at the level of the T4 to T5. T4 to T5. Okay. Then it receives right posterior intercostal and subcostal veins. Okay. Some of the from the bronchial and esophageal. Now, what are the tributaries? I told mainly structure is azygos vein. Azygos vein again they give tributaries hemiazygos and accessory hemiazygos vein, which receives most left posterior intercostal vein and the left bronchial vein. We will discuss later about the hemiazygos. Now, I told what do you mean by azygos. I am going fast. Anyone doubt? Okay.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. We have to cover all three topics. So azygos means unpaired, single or without companion. The word azygos means you have to remember unpaired because it is present on the right side of the chest. It crosses at the level of the T4 to the left. So it is a unpaired. Now it is a straight paravertebral present only on the right side. It is a straight para means side, B side. So paravertebral and present on right side. Now, azygos vein drains blood from posterior abdominal wall and posterior mediastinum. Drains blood from posterior abdominal wall and posterior mediastinum. Okay. It communicates with vena cava system, anterior and vertebral venous system. Anterior and vertebral venous system. There is a location. You know already introduction part. So it located upper part of the posterior abdominal wall and posterior mediastinum. Upper part of the posterior abdominal wall and posterior mediastinum. Okay. So it forms an important collateral channel connecting superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. It forms an important collateral channel connectivity between the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Okay. So this diagram you can see on the right side of the diagram on your right side the thick blue color like duct vein is going, that is azygos vein. This is azygos vein. Okay. Now, so this azygos vein at this level enter into the superior vena cava. Superior vena cava. These are the different tributaries: left superior intercostal vein, superior hemiazygos vein, posterior intercostal vein. Then at the lower level, inferior hemiazygos vein, left ascending lumbar vein. So these are the tributaries. Okay, these are the tributaries. This is the main azygos vein. Main azygos vein. How it forms? Azygos vein, how it forms? So it forms due to the union of right ascending lumbar vein. Remember this point. Formation of the azygos vein, union of right ascending lumbar vein and right subcostal vein at the level of the T12. At the level of the T12, which is common. It may vary, but commonly at the level of the T12, azygous vein forms union of right ascending lumbar vein and right subcostal vein. Okay, so as lumbar azygous vein from back of inferior vena cava, inferior vena cava at the level of left renal vein, left renal vein. Then as a continuation of the right subcostal vein. Formation is as a continuation of right subcostal vein, rarely from the right renal. Okay, right renal. Okay. This is the formation. Mainly is union of right ascending lumbar vein and right subcostal vein. Okay. This is a diagram. You can assess here. See, this is the exact azygous vein. It gives arches, arch here, then crosses from right to left, which is again communicated with the major vessels. That is mainly superior vena cava. Superior vena cava. These are the tributaries again. Accessory hemiazygos and hemiazygos. Okay, these are the again tributaries. Mainly, which is lower half of the azygous vein gives the tributaries. Accessory hemiazygos and hemiazygos. Yes, this diagram clearly you can see here the exact location, how it extends. See, like this, azygous vein arches towards the right side again, mainly connected to the superior vena cava. Superior vena cava. Okay, these are again accessory hemiazygos, then hemiazygos, then some descending thoracic aorta here. These all are tributaries. Tributaries. Okay. Okay. Yes, just I will read once. We have to cover one more topic. So course, it ascending up enters into the thorax through the again aortic opening of the diaphragm. Aortic opening of the diaphragm. It passes upwards in thorax in front of the vertebral column, anterior to the lower 8 thoracic vertebra at the level of the T8, lower level. Okay. Then at the level of the T4, again the point is sternal angle. At the level of the T4, arches above root of the right lung and ends into the superior vena cava. Superior vena cava. Okay. Then it may pass via apex of the right lung. Then that is lobe of azygous vein. So you have to remember here one important point is at the level of the sternal angle, it arches, that is above the root of the right lung and finally enters into the superior vena cava. Superior vena cava. Okay. This diagram again showing the relations. Okay. Relations. This is nothing but azygous vein. See the arrow mark. Then superior vena cava. Okay. These again tributaries. Okay. Make a diagram practice and label it properly. Okay. Okay. This is very important diagram and easy to remember. See here. Okay. This is azygos, which enter into the again superior vena cava. These are the tributaries. Tributaries. Accessory, hemiazygos, posterior intercostalis again. Okay. These are the different tributaries. The main part, the main structure is here azygos vein. Azygos vein. This is the superior vena cava. Superior vena cava. Then continue here again left subclavian, external, internal jugular vein and all. So this is the main part of the azygos, which mainly at the level of the T4 enter into the superior vena cava. Okay. Okay. These are the tributaries. You know already 2-3 diagram you already saw. So these are the different tributaries with the different levels. For example, hemiazygos at the level of the T8. T8. Then accessory hemiazygos at the level of the T7. Okay. Applied anatomy. Yes. Here also, like thoracic duct, whenever there will be obstruction to the superior vena cava, which is the azygos is mainly channel for from the upper part of the body to the inferior vena cava will be disturbed or blocked due to the obstruction of the superior vena cava. So here the azygos system, whatever the connectivity is there, it will be disturbed. It's the one of the only brief applied anatomy you have to remember. Obstruction of the superior vena cava, like thoracic duct. Okay. You know already part of the again hemiazygos vein. Okay, hemiazygos. It is nothing but mirror image of the azygos vein. So it begins again union of the left ascending lumbar and left subcostal. Left ascending lumbar, left subcostal. So it may arises from the posterior part of the left renal vein. Okay. Then it pierces diaphragm, ascends on the left side of the vertebral column. So at the level of the T8 again turn into the right. So what are the tributaries of the hemiazygos vein here? Left ascending lumbar, left subcostal, then lower 3 to 4 intercostal vessels on the left side. Okay. These are again diagrams showing the main azygos vein and their tributaries with the hemiazygos and accessory. Okay. Now accessory. So a continuation at the fourth posterior of the left side runs downwards. It is on the left side of the vertebral column. Okay. What are the tributaries here? Just you have to remember this. Accessory hemiazygos may ask on one MCQ. So tributaries 5, 6, 7, 8 posterior intercostal. Then some left bronchial veins. Okay. Applied anatomy. Yes, again here some obstruction, superior vena cava obstructions, and due to these obstructions affects the main channel between the upper half of the body to the inferior vena cava. So here also again some obstruction will be there. Okay. Now important here, one more structure is there. We have to cover today only. Superior vena cava. Brief I will tell. So introduction, its course, relation, tributaries and applied anatomy. You know types of the blood vessels, arteries, capillaries and veins. Okay. Superior vena cava. You know already general anatomy, superior, inferior. So superior vena cava. This great vein receives systemic blood draining from all areas superior to the diaphragm. Except the heart wall. So what are the major branches here of the superior vena cava? Right brachiocephalic vein, left brachiocephalic vein. Right brachiocephalic vein, left brachiocephalic vein. So these brachiocephalic veins are formed by the joining of the internal jugular and subclavian veins on its side. So this is formed by the joining of the internal jugular and subclavian veins. So this diagram, see here, this is a superior vena cava. Okay, superior vena cava. So this is right brachiocephalic, left brachiocephalic. This is the main trunk, main part of the superior vena cava. You know already where it goes, superior vena cava, heart. Which part of the heart, which chamber? Okay. So here again, this is a superior vena cava. Anatomical position of the heart, dissection. Okay, so this is the superior vena cava. Superior vena cava. So venous system, particular of the thorax, that is superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. So what are the relations of the superior vena cava? Anteriorly, you know already, chest wall and internal thoracic vessels. Posteriorly related to the superior vena cava is trachea and right vagus with the root of the lung. These are the posterior relations. Now, medial to the superior vena cava, arch of aorta, then brachiocephalic artery, medial to the superior vena cava. Then laterally by the phrenic nerve and right lung pleura. Okay. What are the tributaries again here? Azygos vein, arches, and small mediastinal and pericardial veins. So what? Applied anatomy related to the superior vena cava. Yes, mediastinal syndrome. Again here some obstruction, superior vena cava obstruction. Due to this obstruction, then again the circulation may be disturbed. Then correctation of aorta is the localized, that is narrowing of the superior vena cava, which is common. Then some anomalies also there, superior vena cava, a developmental defect and all. So about the superior vena cava, you have to remember these relations. Then introduction part and major branches. What are the major branches? Right brachiocephalic, left brachiocephalic. Okay, so these brachiocephalic veins, how it forms? By the joining of internal jugular and subclavian vein. Okay, so what these three important structures which are mainly related to the thorax, due to the that is vessels, thoracic duct, azygos vein and superior vena cava. These are the important short note, 3 marks, 5 marks, MCQ related also. So make a notes, make a diagram practice, proper labeling. This is very, very important structures related to the thorax. And examination point of view, these are very, very important structures. May ask short note. So tomorrow we'll discuss about other structures. Okay, other structures related to the again thorax, trachea and all we'll discuss. Okay, so any doubt, any query, whatever there, just give the feedback, ask the question, and take care all. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.